Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dycus and Mike Lefkow. Guys, we're heading into week 9. We are in the home stretch of the regular season. We've got some good matchups coming up this weekend. We had some good matchups last weekend, and we had some discouraging developments last weekend. Mike, I mean, you've been around a long time. We're used to seeing some forfeits. We hadn't seen any, to our knowledge, or not very many, until a couple last weekend. We saw Gunn having to cancel its game. We saw Saratoga to cancel its game. And I think you had mentioned Hercules also had to cancel its game, although we're not clear on why. We think it was low numbers, but not 100% sure. How concerning is it? Or is it just par for the course, given that we're heading into the 9th week of a contact sport?
Well, I think it's concerning. I mean, obviously, I think it's the 9th week of a contact sport, and that has a lot to do with it. But it's discouraging nevertheless. I mean, that means that a lot of these schools are playing with barely enough players as it is. And so they lose 2 or 3 guys, and now they may not have enough to field the team. I don't know what the minimum number was. I think I heard the minimum number was 18 for varsity, but I don't know if that's true or not, or if it goes school district to school district or section to section. But it is concerning that you have 3 games on the same night.
We know that Gunn and Saratoga hope to play this week. Not sure if they will or not. Joseph, I mean, you're coming from another area, having moved out here from Tennessee. What do you think? I mean,
I feel bad for the. I mean, yes, maybe they're losing players because of injury, but maybe there are players who have just kind of lost interest in the season. You know, if you're 0-7, 1-6, and the season's almost over, do you show up? I feel bad for like the seniors or the players who do want to still play, and now this is they're probably their last season of football ever. They're having it cut short, and they only have maybe a few games left.
Right. And for the Gun kids, I mean, that's a program that has struggled for many years, and then under its previous coach Jason Miller, who had a running offense, they were able to compete in their own sandbox, and don't believe they ever made the CCS playoffs, but they won, up to 8 games in the season, maybe even 9. But they've definitely taken a reversal this season with Jason now coaching back in his home area of Los Angeles, and doing quite well down there, I might add. Lefty, anything? I mean, I think we're going to probably see more of this here in the last couple of weeks, right?
St. Patrick, St. Vincent has already announced that their game with Piedmont is not going to be played this weekend. Piedmont, I think, has dropped the rest of their season.
Very low numbers. It goes back to the haves and have-nots football. School communities that are going to take it seriously, and others that you either have to be all in or you're gonna see low numbers if you don't get the people to come out. And it's hard to get. And I know at Saratoga, the coach there said, Stephen Mattis said that he was encouraged by the numbers at his lower levels. Didn't want to promote anybody to varsity last week to fill that roster spot because he thought it would maybe stunt their growth if they're guys who aren't ready to play at the varsity level having to come up there and play varsity ball on a minute's notice. Not fair to them as they move forward in their high school careers. So they chose not to play last week. They're hoping to play this week, and we'll see what happens. On a more positive note, the Clayton Valley Charter Ugly Eagles started the season. What were they start the season? 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
They had that week off, and Coach Murph and I talked after that 1-3 start, and he said that no more Mr. Nice Guy. He was going back to being Coach Murph, and they had a week off before their Jesuit game, and they went on the road and won at Jesuit. Then they went on the road and won at Amador Valley quite impressively, and then they won another impressive game on Friday night at San Ramon Valley. The Ugly Eagles are 4-0 at on the road and 0-3 at home, where they will be playing on Friday night against California. Joseph, you're going to see them Friday night.
I'm really excited to go see them.
What are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, I've heard a lot about Kristen Aguilar ever since, even in the preseason. You know, we ran a feature on him before the season started, and I mean, it looks like they have 2 or 3 really talented receivers that he's going to be throwing to.
Very much so.
California, from what I saw last week, they have a pretty good secondary. Devin Love, he's a running back, but I think he's probably better as a defensive back even. And I kind of just want to see, you know, are those two teams going to throw the ball 40 times apiece? Is it going to be a 3-hour game?
I think there will be a lot of passing in that game. Lefty, what do you think? I mean, you know, Coach Tim Murphy has changed the offense. They're passing more with Kristen Aguilar and the receivers that Joseph mentioned. But you've always liked Danny Calcagno over California. This is not a gimme for Clayton Valley, right?
No, whenever you play California, it's not going to be a gimme. Danny Calcagno is a terrific coach. But, you know, again, so is Tim Murphy. They're both very good coaches. Clayton has better talent. But I think California will give it all it's worth. And I don't know how close they stay. I don't necessarily see a running clock in this game. But
right.
I think Clayton, probably 2 touchdowns better.
I think the most interesting development about Clayton is if it wins this week and wins next week, got to be Monte Vista next week, right? Because next week is week 10, and then they close against De La Salle. I mean, if that passing offense is in high gear, they've never been a team that's been, they're not afraid of De La Salle. Even though the results have been one-sided, they've always put up a fight. They're going to get them at home in week 11. We discussed this off the air. I mean, if Clayton Valley were to win that game, if they win out and upset De La Salle in week 11, which would be they would be the first team to beat De La Salle from the North Coast section since Pittsburgh did it back in 1991. Then you're looking at Pittsburgh and Clayton Valley as the 1 and 2 seeds in that open Division I bracket, which for readers or for viewers who aren't familiar with that bracket, which was introduced last season, it was a bracket that was introduced to help the large schools get to the state playoffs without having to beat De La Salle, which obviously they haven't done in 31 years. So if Pittsburgh and Clayton Valley are the 1 and 2 seeds, they would be playing in the Open Division Championship in week 2 of the NCS playoffs, with the loser sliding into the Division I championship, which would then be against De La Salle. So if Clayton were to beat De La Salle in week 11, lose to Pittsburgh in week 13, which would be the second week of the NCS playoffs, and Pittsburgh would move on to the regionals as the Open Division champion from NCS, then Clayton would have to beat De La Salle probably again in week 14, which would be the championship game of Division I, to go to state. It's just, do you see that happening, Lefty?
Well, yeah, I mean, it could happen, and nobody said that this plan that NCS came up with is without flaws.
Well, you always said, even when the league didn't count the games against De La Salle, that you were upset one time when we were on the phone going, are they saying from here to eternity no team is ever going to beat De La Salle? Is that what they're saying?
Well, I mean, that to me is kind of what they did say, and I still believe eventually somebody's going to beat De La Salle from the North Coast section. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's another 10 or 15 years. I don't know. But I mean, the thing is that, like I say, this plan is kind of flawed. I just think they should just let it go on and play as is. They need to, I mean, you know, I kind of went through the Cal Preps rankings today. And I did like how you would seed the teams if you went just strictly by their rankings. And it would be a lot different than what you're going to see in the North Coast section playoffs. I mean, Actually, Cal Preps has still got San Ramon ranked ahead of Clayton Valley.
I saw that.
I don't know about that.
I was quite surprised by the computer's ranking.
Right, but I mean, even more so, I think Marin Catholic was a number 3 rated team in the North Coast section, and Marin Catholic's Division 4. I mean, San Ramon is Division 2. It just makes no sense.
Right. They don't put the best teams in one division. And there's an argument for and there's an argument against. I mean, the argument against obviously is that you're killing your own if you put them all in one division, because then you're seeing teams, and that's a nice segue into the next game we're going to discuss before we move on to our picks, is the Los Gatos Wilcox game. Obviously, this is going to be for the I guess it's now the Peninsula Athletic League, Santa Clara Valley Athletic League, since they merged.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. The Anza Division Championship, Friday night at Los Gatos. Be Wilcox going in at 7-0. Los Gatos is 5-2. Both teams are undefeated in league. But the question is, do you want to win league? I'm sure both teams do. I'm sure both teams want to win this game. But the team that loses this game, particularly if it's Los Gatos, given that Los Gatos has 2 losses, should slide into the Division 2 bracket like Wilcox did last year when they finished second to Los Gatos and went on a long playoff run. And we saw Los Gatos get bounced after 1 week of the playoffs. It'd kind of be like MLB, where you're seeing some of the good teams bounced after one round, and then other teams that didn't win their league are moving on, or their division. So in this case, huge game Friday night. But Lefty, if you're one of these players on Los Gatos and Wilcox, how are you taking this game? I mean, obviously everybody wants to win state now that state's out there. It wasn't out there 25 years ago, but it's out there now, and kids want to win state. How are you approaching this game Friday night if you're Los Gatos and Wilcox, and that the winner of this game is going to win that league and is going to be in Division 1 with Sarah?
Well, I mean, I think the players will approach a game. They'll take their lead from the coaches. And Wilcox and Los Gatos both have terrific coaches, and they're leaders. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. So I think the players just take the lead from the coaches. But there again, I looked at Cal Preps this morning, and I looked at the Central Coast rankings. And it's still early, but I mean, Los Gatos and Wilcox are both in the top 8. And let's say that game is decided by a field goal. Does one of them drop out of the top 8? I mean,
that's a great question. And those rankings are done by strength of schedule, and their league is not that good. I mean, the teams are not, they don't get a lot of points for the schedule they're playing within their own league, because the teams are not ranked that highly. I shouldn't say they're not good. They're just not ranked very highly, and they've had off years. So,
but when you look at the rankings with 2 weeks to go in the season, all right, you've got Aptos as number 8 in the Central Coast section. Then comes Central Sacred Heart Cathedral is number 9. So, I mean, the thing is what if Gatos and Wilcox, let's say they play an overtime game. I mean, do you drop one of them out of the top 8? I don't know.
No.
No.
I haven't looked this week. Where's Salinas ranked? Because didn't Aptos upset Salinas last week?
Salinas was ranked number 5.
No, so they're still ahead of Aptos, even though Aptos has the loss to Campo, which is another great story going on. They're undefeated.
And Campo was ranked number 6 in Division 1 in the North Coast section. So Campo,
but they're not Division 1, right?
I just ranked them based on how they were ranked in the section, not by their divisions.
All right. When I checked yesterday, Campo was in Division 2 in the.
Oh yeah, no, they still are, but I mean, they're still ranked 6th overall in the North Coast section.
Guys, ready to get to the picks?
Let's go.
Game 1 on the list. Joseph, you're going to be there Thursday, according to Max Preps. Thursday night, Live Oak 6-1. I actually took notes on this one. Live Oak 6-1, and Lincoln San Jose 7-0. Lincoln's 4-8 against Live Oak in the Max Preps era, and lost to the Acorns 41-6 last year. When Lincoln won the Mount Hamilton division in 2018, they won a home game against Live Oak that season 27-24. We all know about Lincoln's Phillips brothers, the quarterback, Jaden, the receiver, Kyan, and Salvador Espinoza, the running back. Live Oak counters with running back Jordan Fuentes, who's at 820 yards for the season, and quarterback Landon Stump, 999 passing yards. Lefty, he's more of a baseball player, right? Landon Stump?
Yeah, he's going to, I think he's the one going to UCLA.
UCLA for baseball, I think?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, he's a pitcher.
Both teams, I mean, Live Oak coming off a dramatic overtime win last week at Santa Teresa, so they're going to be hitting the road again. I just think Lincoln is playing so well right now. They seem to be getting better each week. I'm taking the Lions to win this game, so I'm taking Lincoln. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I wanted to take Live Oak, but I mean the Lions just have so much firepower. Like you said, the Phillips brothers, Espinoza, a couple other guys on that team too. I mean, Live Oak has a really good defense, but I think Lincoln's gonna win, but it's not gonna be. I think it's like 24-14 or something like that.
Lefty?
I'm going with Lincoln.
And the computer goes Lincoln 34-21. Game 2 on the list. Tennyson on Friday night, 5-2, 2-0 in the Foothill division of the MVAL WACC. Will be traveling to Union City to play James Logan, also 5-2, 2-0. Logan's going to have to contend with Tayshawn Lyons, the kid who has the Notre Dame offer, right?
Yep.
Notre Dame
as far
offer.
as I know, yes.
Notre Dame offer. So both teams have, well, Tennyson's won 2 in a row, and James Logan has won 3 in a row. They've both scored about the same, 186, I think, for Tennyson and 168 for Logan. Well, both have given up about the same, 139 for Tennyson and 132 for Logan. Let you go first, Lefty. Who you got?
I'm going to take Logan. I think they've played a tougher overall schedule, and I think it's going to benefit them.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Lefty. I'm gonna take Logan. I'm going to talk with their coach the last few weeks, and they seem to be really rounding into form here.
And I've got Logan circled too, so 3 for Logan, and Cal Preps has also taken Logan 31-13. This next game, West Valley Division has 3 teams with undefeated league records. 2 of them are going to play on the Friday night. It's Mount Pleasant, 5-2, 4-0 in the league, playing Del Mar, also 5-2, and 4-0 in the league. Willow Glen is the other team that's undefeated in league in that league. I'm going with the road team. I think it's going to be close, but I'm taking Mount Pleasant to win this game. Mount Pleasant's 5-3 against Del Mar in the Max Preps era and has won 3 in a row. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going to go with Del Mar.
Lefty?
Yep, I think Del Mar is going to end Mount Pleasant's 3-game winning streak.
All right, and Cal Prep says Del Mar 31, Mount Pleasant 30. Toss up. Next game on the list, Miramone with Luke Duncan, 6-1 now. Those Mats, they're 2-0 in the Foothill division of the Diablo Athletic League. They're going to be hitting the road to play Las Lomas. Las Lomas has been an up and down team this season. They're 3-4, but they're capable of playing a good game at any given notice. They won last week, 34-7 over Northgate. They are 4-0 against Miramonte in the last 4 games. And in those 4 games, Las Lomas has scored almost an average of 50 points a game. 48.25. Joseph, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm still going Miramone. Their offense. I would say Miramone's offense is
I almost changed your mind. I almost changed your mind though.
You almost did, but I was like, I've seen Luke Duncan and those receivers, and their running backs are pretty good too with the offensive line. I don't. Maybe Las Lomas still puts up 50, but Miramone is going to put up 40. So,
well, if that's the case, you lose. You mean Miramone is going to put up what, 52 to win 52?
Yeah, they're going to put up 55.
All right, Lefty, who you got?
I'm going with Las Lomas. Michael Wood is back at quarterback, and I think what their running game is starting to get in gear. And I think what they're going to do is slow the game down and try to keep the ball out of Miramonte's hands.
And I've got Las Lomas here too. And Cal Preps has Las Lomas 40 and Miramonte 31. So 3-1 on that one. Game 5 on the list. Overfelt at Westmont. Westmont, one of the undefeated teams in the Bay Area at 7-0, 2-0 in the league. Going up against Overfelt, 6-1, 2-0 in the league. I think, Joseph, you saw Overfelt's only loss on the season.
Yeah, their one loss.
This game's going to be interesting. It was a tough one to pick. I ended up going with the home team, Westmont. Very solid team this season. Coach Kanapu doing good things there in Campbell. Lefty, who you got?
I've got Westmont winning.
Joseph?
I wanted to go with Overfelt, but I have to go with Westmont.
And Cal Prep says Westmont by 10, 34-24. Doherty Valley, 6-2 on a 2-game losing streak after winning its first 6. Hitting the road to play Livermore, 6-1. Livermore's undefeated season was wrecked last week by Foothill. Great item in Monday Morning Lights, Lefty, on the soccer player from Foothill who did big things in that game. So they're now 0-1 in the league. Doherty Valley is 0-2. This is the Valley Division of the EBAL. I'm taking Livermore at home. I think they're going to win comfortably. Joseph, who you got?
I'm taking Livermore too. I'm looking at Cal Preps here, and I think they have Livermore winning 42-14. You think that's accurate, or you think the computer is being a little aggressive?
I think it's going to be a comfortable win for the Cowboys, but that's me. Lefty?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Cowboys, and I don't know if it'll be 42-14, but I could see it being 35-14.
Okay, give him a touch.
Not a whole lot of.
Game 7 on the list. This is an interesting game. Liberty at 4-3. I was talking to a coach over the weekend. I was wondering, how did Liberty have some bad losses earlier in the season? I mean, they lost to Los Gatos. It's a very solid team, but got hammered. But they've come on of late. The 31-29 loss to Pittsburgh required Pittsburgh to kick a late field goal to win that game. And then they hammered Freedom, right? Hammered Freedom last week.
Right.
They're going to be going up against Antioch, which they beat Deer Valley, but then came back and also beat Heritage. So this was a very tough game for me to pick. But I ended up going with the road team. I think if Liberty could go to Pittsburgh and play a great game, I think they can go to Antioch and play a great game. I'm taking Liberty. Joseph, who you got?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, Liberty. I mean, I wish I was at that Liberty Pittsburgh game because I'm like that result came out of nowhere.
Right. Lefty.
I'm going with the Panthers. Antioch.
Ooh.
I could just see Liberty coming out a little bit flat after the way they played Pittsburgh last week.
2 weeks ago.
Two weeks ago. And I don't know. I mean, Liberty's got a good team. Nate Bell's a good quarterback. They've got some talent all around, but I think, I don't know. I just have a feeling that Antioch's gonna get up and win this one.
All right, game 8 on the list. We're picking 15. We got Berkeley, 4-3, hitting the road to play Hayward. I looked at one common opponent and saw that Berkeley beat Moreau 27-23, and last week Hayward lost to Moreau 29-14. I went with the Yellow Jackets. I'm taking Berkeley to win on the road. I like that offense. They've got some talent on that team. Lefty, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Berkeley. I think it's going to be a very good game, but I think Berkeley's a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm going with Berkeley. And have you guys heard of this Jackson Harris kid at wide receiver? He's got 21 total touchdowns already this year.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Stud.
Good player.
The computer does not agree with us. Picked Hayward 35-22. Joseph, can you double check and make sure that's right? Did I get that right? That the computer went with Hayward to win that game by 13 points?
Yeah, I'm on that. I'm on it right now.
The red hot Berkeley team.
Yeah.
It
doesn't sound right.
Game 9 on the list. Santa Teresa. Ooh, Steve Pappin. Wonder what this week of practice was like after a crushing overtime loss to Live Oak last week. They're going to be at home to play Christopher, which Christopher is 6-1. The only loss was to Lincoln a couple weeks ago at home. First meeting between these teams in the Max Preps era. Christopher's new to the BVAL's Mount Hamilton division. I'm taking the Saints of Santa Teresa to get back on track. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I'm taking Santa Teresa. Lefty, who you got?
I'm going to go with Christopher. I agree with you. It's going to be a low-scoring, close game, but I think Christopher is going to pull it out.
Joseph?
So I'm going to go with Santa Teresa. I think it will be a 14-10 game. And you were right, Darren. Cal Preps has Hayward winning 35-22. So
interesting. Well, Cal Preps has Christopher winning 21-14. So it's 2-2 on that game with Lefty and the computer going with Christopher and Joseph and I going with Santa Teresa.
Well, me and the computer always think alike.
Yeah, you guys always think alike. This one on the list, Northgate 5-2, coming off a loss to, we just said it, Las Lomas, right? They lost to Las Lomas last week.
Right, 34-7.
They're going to be traveling to Campo Lindo, which is coming off an emotional, thrilling, dramatic victory before a sold-out crowd at home over Acalanes last week, 27-24. Coach Macy was in usual form after the game, saying his guys were just gassed, depleted, small school, didn't know who was going to be able to get on the field for the Cougars there at the end. But he managed to get 11 guys on defense, and they were able to stop Acalanes to win that game, to stay undefeated. They're now 7-0, and I think they win this one not as dramatically. I think they beat Northgate fairly comfortably. Lefty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Campo wins. I could see Northgate giving them a little bit of a battle. Campo might be a little bit down after last week, but
they might be beaten up. I should take Coach Macy at his word, and maybe we're going to see an upset.
No, I don't think you're going to see an upset. I think it might be a little closer than expected, but I don't think it'll be an upset.
Joseph.
Yeah. I'm going with Campo, and I was looking at, so Northgate was one of those teams that was undefeated when we spotlighted in Monday Morning Lights. Oh, here are the undefeated teams in the Bay Area. And I remember writing, oh, yeah, they have a great defense. Well, since I wrote that, their defense is kind of falling apart. They've given up 35 points, and I think 34 and 35 points in their last two games. So,
didn't I tell you when we do rankings that you look at who they've played?
I know.
That was the thing. Northgate had played competitive teams, but not teams that were going to score 30 points, 35 points.
Not teams from the foothill division of the Diablo Athletic League.
Yeah, they've run into a couple tough teams.
Game 11 on the list. San Mateo 5-2, 3-0 in the Ocean Division. They hit the road to play Terra Nova. Terra Nova 6-1, 2-0. First meeting between these San Mateo County teams in 11 years. They haven't played since 2011. In the Max Preps era, they had been playing every year, I guess, before that. And San Mateo is 0-7 against Terra Nova. So that must have been from 2004 to 2011. I got Terra Nova winning this one. I've been to Pacifica. It could get cold, foggy. It's a nice stadium they have there. They have community support there in Pacifica. I'm taking Terra Nova to take down San Mateo on Friday. Lefty, you with me or against me on that one?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to take Terra Nova to win that game.
Joseph?
I'm going to go with you, and we're going to go with the computer and say Terra Nova is going to win. Cal Preps has them win 28-21. So
it's going to be close, which it could be. But yeah. I think Terra Nova pulls it out. This next one on the list, another tough game. Bellarmine 3-4, as we pointed out. Their 4 losses were to very quality opponents. Hitting the road to play Sacred Heart Cathedral at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, where it also could be cold and foggy. I'm going with Cathedral to win at home. I think they play well there at Kezar. They won an emotional game last week. Could go the other way because, I mean, they won the emotional game last week. Bellarmine lost the emotional game last week against Mitty, but I think Sacred Heart Cathedral playing at home in San Francisco is tough. I'm taking the Fighting Irish. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going with Bellarmine. I don't think I've picked against Bellarmine once this year, and I'm not going to pick against them now. I mean, they're going to get back to 500, 4-4.
Lefty.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bellarmine. I think they're a good team. I know they're 3-4.
I think they're a good team too. They're just playing tough teams. I mean,
yeah, no, they are.
I think Cathedral's good.
Yeah, no, they are playing tough teams, but I think Bellarmine pulls this one out.
All right. Computer says Sacred Heart Cathedral 21, Bellarmine 17. So it's 2-2 on that one. We got 3 games left. Hang with us if you're viewing. We've got game 13, Menlo School 4-3 against Menlo Atherton 4-3. I know coming over here, Joseph, was kind of confusing those Menlo schools and those Sacred Hearts, but now we got, you're not covering it, but we got Menlo School, the Knights against the Bears from and both of them are from Atherton.
Yes.
So you have to throw in the school there for Menlo. So it's Menlo School hyphen Atherton against Menlo Atherton. I guess you would put Atherton.
Yeah. Or just put MA.
Or MA. I think the Bears of MA win this one at home. I think this could be a good game, but I'm taking MA. Lefty, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Menlo Atherton.
Joseph?
I'm going to go with Menlo School.
Ooh. Whoa.
I mean, they put up 43. They put 43 on Half Moon Bay, the same Half Moon Bay team that Menlo Atherton only put 20 points up on. Yeah, did Menlo School give up 52 points? Yes. But we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on how many points they scored.
They scored. And they did score quite a bit.
They scored. And, will Jurion Dickey play?
That's a great question. We're going to have a reporter there, so we will find out. Computer says MA 31, Menlo School 14. 2 more games on the list. They're both big ones. California 5-2 after losing to De La Salle last week. They hit the road to play Clayton Valley Charter. Clayton Valley on a 3-game winning streak, looking for its first win of the season at home. They're 0-3 at home, as we discussed earlier, and 4-0 on the road. I am taking the Ugly Eagles to win this one. I think it's be a good game, but I say Clayton Valley by 10. Lefty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Clayton Valley's. I think they've got it together. They're on a roll. I think they're going to win this game. I'd say by double digits, not a running clock, but by double digits.
Joseph,
I'm kind of with Lefty there. California looked like a very good team when I saw them at De La Salle, and they were hanging with the Spartans for probably a half, maybe middle of the second half. They started to kind of fade, but Clayton Valley is just hot right now.
So you got Clayton Valley too. So everybody's taking Clayton Valley, and the computer has Clayton Valley winning 31-21. The last game on the list is the big one in Los Gatos, where the Wilcox Chargers are 7-0. They were the runner-up to Los Gatos in this league last year, but Los Gatos got, as we discussed earlier, bumped up to Division I, lost to Bellarmine in the first round of the playoffs, and was done after 1 week while they watched Wilcox go on a long run. Wilcox played 5 more games, winning CCS Division II, winning a NorCal Regional, and losing a heartbreaker in a state championship game down in Mission Viejo. That being said, I think the roles flipped this year, and I'm taking Wilcox and that veer to beat Los Gatos to go to 8-0. Joseph, who you got?
I flipped off on this. Give me Los Gatos.
Okay.
They're gonna give Wilcox their first loss, but it's gonna be a very close game.
Lefty.
I'm gonna go with Wilcox. I think Wilcox got a real nice team this year. I think Los Gatos does too, but I think Wilcox a little bit better. And they'll get stuck in Division I for the playoffs.
And let me ask you this: if they get stuck in Division One, they have a puncher's chance to win Division One?
No, not against Sarah. But I mean,
No.
I wanted you to say yes.
well, I mean,
You're
the thing is that there's just no. I mean, again, looking at Cal Preps this morning, they had Sarah, Mitty, St. Francis, and Sacred Heart Prep as their top 4. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
sure, there's 2 weeks left in the season, but I think Sarah is really good, and they played great football last week, and I can see Sarah getting back down to LA and taking on the one of the two pseudo high schools down there.
Computer has Los Gatos winning 28-21. Joseph, make sure that's right. Is that right? Los Gatos 28-21.
Yeah, let me
Before we wrap up.
Games at Los Gatos, isn't it?
Games at Los Gatos.
Yeah, I can see the computer picking Los Gatos.
Yeah.
Central Coast 221. 1 second. But yeah, who was the coach that was it last week said it'd be sometimes it's better to lose?
That was the Half
Moon Bay coach, Coach Keith Holden.
Los Gatos is favored to win 28-21 according to our friend the computer.
All right. Well, so that's a 2-2 split with Joseph. Joseph, you predict a similar score to the computer?
No, I think it's going to be like 21-20.
Oh, kind of close.
That's close.
28-21. So, yeah, I could see it being something like that. It's going to be a great game.
Oh, I think it's going to be a terrific game, yeah.
We'll have a reporter out there. We'll have a photographer out there. That should be great. Check us out. mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Look for our coverage over the weekend. Be sure to get a digital subscription so you have complete access to everything we do moving forward, because even though there are just 2 weeks after this one left in the regular season, we have another 5 weeks of playoffs and championship games.
Mm-hmm. Second season.
We're just getting started. Just getting started. So anyhow, guys, have any parting shots? Lefty, anything else to say to our viewers out there before we wrap this thing up?
No, not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how everything is seeded once the playoffs begin. But for now, I'll just wait and see what happens.
Joseph?
Just as always, athletic directors and coaches, please email us your Athlete of the Week nominations by Monday, and we'll be sure to get them in.
Sounds good. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week.